This man has had some amazing predictions that have come accurately 100% true, and in some senses, this man is kind of an illusion of himself. And he's a great guy, and without further ado, why don't we just bring him on the air and have him tell us all about himself. Dr. Turi, welcome to the program.
Hello, Jack. Thank you for inviting me, my friend.
You're very, very welcome. Listen, I have been reading your newsletters. I have been looking at your websites. I have been looking at your past predictions. Now, there's a lot of references to Nostradamus, and so I wanted to start this program off by asking one question. Give us a little bit about your background and your connection and correlations between Nostradamus, if you would, please.
Well, of course, first of all, realize that I have nothing to do with Nostradamus apart from that I was born in the same era and under the same stars.
Yes.
So that tells you a lot on the spiritual level. But most of all, what I did for the last 35 years or so is to rekindle his spiritual divine astrology methodology. And when I teach at the American Federation of Astrologers, will be in Florida or anywhere I go, I always have to deal with the hardcore, mathematically jargonized astrology. And those people literally are making those that want to go into astrology running away. Yes. Because it's overloaded with mathematics. Yes. Astrology is an art. And on art, to deal with art, you have to use intuition, spirituality, you have to use symbolism, metaphor, and all the good stuff that I'm going to be using in my next course in Sedona.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now,
so the connection that I have with the prophet is highly spiritual,
yes.
Put it this way.
Now, and the birth date really has something to do with that on some level, does it not?
Oh, indeed. Your birth date, or your UCI, which stands for Unique Celestial Identity, is a reflection of the energy you inherited as you reincarnated on this dense physical world. Those energies are a mixture of gifts and, of course, karma. So your chart is pretty much a roadmap of all that the universal code has in store for you. But the sad reality, Jack, is that 99.5% of the people on this world that regulates your life, that make the laws, that teach our children, do not have cosmic consciousness themselves.
Yes.
And taking aside the laws written by God himself through the light or through his creation, the stars, is the main reason why this world is chaos.
Right, right. Well, let me ask you this, because I got a lot of email. I told you just before the program that I've received an enormous amount of email, and one of the questions that kind of stood out with me, and well, it was one of my questions myself, is how did you get started on this path that you're
Jack,
on?
Let me tell you something. How did you get started on your path?
I was bored. No, I'm kidding.
you were born as a Libra.
Yes.
Okay. And to answer your question, I'm going to take you as an example.
Okay.
You were born under the constellation of Libra. Libra is the laws, the scale, so to speak.
Yes.
Libra rules psychology, psychiatry, and the lower level, and the higher level, astropsychology. This is what I teach. So you were born with the head of the dragon, which is your gifts, into the sign of Aquarius. And Aquarius was anything and everything that dwells with the future of mankind, astrology, the spirit, UFOs. As a matter of fact, Einstein has the same dragon that you were born with.
Oh, really?
And yes, and so are the people that spend their lives on television, like Oprah Winfrey or Larry King, these Carson, the people that belong to television had your head of the dragon, which tells me you actually have extraordinary luck when it comes to the internet type of energy and television and high-tech type of energy. That's your dragon's head. Now, you were asking me how come Mozart and Beethoven became pianists, so to speak.
Yes.
It's your gift. The universal codes made you that way. So you vibrate in that on that level to learn and to teach the laws of the divine or the laws of man, because Libra rules the laws. Now, if you are a young soul, you're going to go there and start to regurgitate the apocalyptic religious stuff that's going out there.
Right.
But that's one side of the scale, which are the laws of man. The other side of the scale represents your progress to learn something else than what has been accepted by the majority in terms of belief system. So you, as a Libra, you have to bring that equilibrium to all the people you're going to touch. And because your dragon's head is in Aquarius, the universe wants you to do it in a big way. But what makes it really interesting in your UCI, unique celestial identity, Jack, is that you were born with Jupiter, the biggest planet overall, the Lord of Luck. In Greek mythology, the protector, the teacher, the philosopher. You were born with this planet in your third house that regulates your critical thinking, your learning power, your teaching powers. So the universe has already set you up. Subconsciously, you're not aware of it, but you're set up to do a teaching on your honor right.
Yes.
So that is the same with me. I was born with the dragon's head in Aquarius, in Aries. I'm a leader of the mind, and I have a lot of my planet in the world of Aquarius right in your dragon's head. So a magnet will attract a piece of wood, and this is why I'm joining force with you to bring an understanding of the cosmic code and raise your audience cosmic consciousness through our engagement. Do that make sense?
I completely understand, and man, that was damn cool. So okay, let's do this. Now you talked about the head of the dragon. Now there's a whole thing that's built with that. Right? The head of the dragon and the moon and everything else. Can you describe that a little bit so the listeners can kind of understand?
Well, the dragon is coming from the constellation of Draco, and Nostradamus, that's the name of my Doberman, by the way, my baby dog. And Nostradamus used that constellation to do his predictions, but Nostradamus himself was born with the head of the dragon in Pisces. Now, Pisces rules all affairs involving the subconscious, psychic energies, and the spirits. He was born with the same dragon than Edgar Cayce, Madame Blavatsky, and all the people that have made a name for themselves in terms of prediction or prophets. So there is no accident, again, for Nostradamus to do what he did because of his dragon. I wrote intensively, over 500 pages, a book called The Power of the Dragon. There is actually more power on your dragon's head and tail than the entire complexity of your chart, Jack. So once you understand the head of the dragon, you ride his head, and the universe will open doors for you. Now, if you don't know better, what you're going to do is to put energy, education, time, effort, money on your dragon's tail. The point is, been there, done that. And the universe is going to try to stop you every possible way, and that could even cost you your life. Now, don't get me wrong. Oh, yes. Oh, this is serious. The stars don't care. It's like God, creating an earthquake or a tsunami and killing thousands of people.
Oh, yeah.
When you don't understand something, you put it in God's back. And that's where the word is. It's an act of God. That means because you're not educated. Okay? But if you get the understanding of how the cosmic codes interact with the human psyche, there is absolutely nothing that you cannot be or cannot do. And that's why the political church of the 16th century removed all this wisdom. They don't want you to know so they can manipulate you.
Yes.
And that's all there is. So the dragon is indeed the most powerful energy or element that you were born with. And if you understand your dragon or your hidden dragon, which is even more powerful, chances are you will understand what's going on. Let me give you a real fast example, if I may. I know you read my last newsletter, but some of your audience listeners did not.
Yes.
This crazy 70-year-old guy somewhere in Europe over there that literally fathers his daughter, a bunch of kids. You heard of that on the news?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this gentleman was born with the tail of the dragon in Cancer. And Cancer was home, family, children, and that is just a natural negative energy.
Yes.
And there is so much information but not having an understanding of the dynamics of the celestial mechanics, it may be a little bit difficult for anybody to relate to me. And that's why I always suggest people go to my website, click on the